Welcome back to Rebuilding Astroworld. This is Swag, and on today's episode, we get to jump back into building buildings, what you guys are all excited for. Now, the big thing in this episode is this building right here. This is the Showcase Theater. It is the largest building in the entire park, just so happens to be near the front entrance. There's some videos of folks coming into the park, and like the side of the building has a Batman advertisement because of the new Batman ride in 1990 something or other. But the biggest thing I've got to do is find the shape of this building, not the detail work. I think that's going to have to come later on once the rest of these buildings are sort of rough drafted. Because it's such a big building, I have to make sure the sight lines from all different angles look good. Because if it doesn't look good from every angle, it's going to be a massive sore thumb in the middle of the park. This building's pretty big. Now, if you can imagine, this building's going to be like 3 to 5 times bigger than this building. So we're going to have a tough time ahead, but I have a feeling we can make a really nice facade, at least for the entrance, and then the rest of the building. We just want the space. We want to fill the space and see what we've got surrounding it. How much space do we have around this arch? And what do we have on the backside? Because this area is like a smaller building that's going to be a little easier to do. This is like just giant, massive, and that's really tough to do in this game without making it look super dull. So let's get to it and see what we can do. Okay, so I was able to build this facade, and it makes sense. The original park kind of has this little brown roof, white border, blue trim facade area, and it's actually really short, and then it goes into the giant building behind it. I'm really happy with this sort of diagonal aesthetic. I think it looks well. It's like, okay, this is clearly an entrance into a big building. I like the big windows. I can imagine it just like a theater in the United States. We usually typically have these big windows, and then in this area you've got like concessions and ticket booths and stuff. All of that's on the inside. I know this is a theme park, so they're not really going to have like ticket booths or anything like that, but they would have, you know, concessions, maybe a restroom on the inside of the building before you walk into the actual theater itself. So now I'm going to try to build the toughest part, which is the giant big building behind this facade. We've got the big theater, so if you can imagine, you've got the entire amphitheaters inside here, and then this is sort of the stage. You know, the stage area has a lot higher, so they can drop curtains or drop backdrops and then lift them up when they're not using them. I like the overall shape. These little back outlet areas are most likely behind the scenes stuff. I'm maybe going to put a door here, and then probably like delivery doors and stuff over here. I do think we're probably going to put a building that doesn't exist in the real park in this area to fill the gap between this building and this building. Something that will probably break up the facades just a little bit to keep things looking a little nice. Oh, I just noticed the plants are dying. Oh no! Let's get a handyman over here. Get some work done, bro. I do think that I want to make this lip one tile wider, so that this top piece and this middle area have a little bit of a difference. So like pulling this out one more and having it come out, I think that would look okay. And it's kind of tight around here. I know there's going to be a bunch of foliage right here to cover up the big side of this building from, let's just say, people walking the paths. So I'm not too concerned with that. It did get a lot closer than I thought it would. I wish I could just shift this building over 2 tiles. But using the scenery editor and trackitecture, it doesn't work very well at all. It's a lot of work to just shift it over 2 tiles, and I don't know if I'm willing to do it. So for now, I think I might widen that by 1 more tile just to give it a little bit more texture. It's going to get a whole lot more of those pieces. I guess we'll find out. We'll test it and find out. I do like it with that extra tier. I think that adds just a little bit more shape to the building overall. So I'm going to keep it that way. And yes, you notice I don't have railings at the diagonals yet. And a lot of these pieces are probably going to be replaced later on. And then, of course, we're using Trackitecture for diagonal supports or trim work. And then we'll probably have details that are like just fully diagonal on the side of this building. So we will have fun with that in the future. I think for now, it's just going to be this building, which is the shape it is. And we will come back to it to detail, I think later on, maybe add a ride in here so that peeps are coming in here. So that's going to be it for this building in this episode. Now we're going to figure out the blueprint for this building over here next. I really do like where we're going with this building. It's supposed to have like a boardwalk vibe to it. And yes, I'm not sticking with these windows in the end. It's too repetitive. I think if I can get one bigger window for each two of these, I'll figure out a way to do that. And I think that's the goal for this wall, And then supports, I do think I need to get a little bit bulkier supports, potentially using track pieces or diagonal pieces. Why am I telling you this now in the middle of the build? Because you're going to have to come back for next episode for that to be completed. Because I've spent over 2 hours on each, well, 1 hour on each building, just about. Actually, probably more than 1 hour on each building. And I'm nowhere close to where I want to be. And I know it looks really white, but that's because I'm rough drafting these. I want to make sure I like what I've got before I detail it all. And positioning is super important as well. There's a nice little fountain in front of this little part of the tower with some foliage that wraps around it. And this building, which I think I'll probably have to shift over a little bit, maybe a little closer over here, has foliage too. That's going to separate the, I don't know what to call it. It's going to separate the pathing in this area. And it's going to make it look a little bit more full, because obviously it looks really bland and wide open for now. I don't know what we're going to do in this little transition area. I don't know if we maybe put up a fake facade here, or we just have a full other building. I also thought to myself, maybe if this building doesn't go diagonal, we can make a rectangular building where the back of the theater's on this side, and we just shift it over a little bit. We'll find out how that goes in the long run as well. But for now, I'm liking what we've got. I really like these fences at the top. This is just like they have it in the real park, or had it in the real park, I should say. But yeah, I mean, I messed around with some pieces I haven't used much, but I think it's pulled off pretty well. It's like 4 separate windows on each side. I wish I could put a little bit of a backer instead of having the see-through part to it, but it's just not working to my favor. So for now, I thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Swag out.